My name is Connor and I'm one of the product managers here at More. Today I'll be talking you through a new feature we're releasing called the Portfolio View. So this is just an example account we have here. And on the left here, you'll see the My Property menu item. So if we click in that, we can now see the portfolio view. So this feature allows us to see any sort of combination of properties that we'd like to look at. So historically on the platform, really you've been able to view properties in isolation, but this now allows you to view any combination. So over on the right here, we see a selection widget. So right now you can see the full portfolio view is enabled, but we can deselect and select different combinations. So we might want to look at just our investment properties, just personal use, or just business use properties, for example. And then all of the data on the page will update depending on the properties we're looking at. So let's go back to have a look at the full portfolio view here, and we'll go through some of the different features we have on the page. First of all, we can see these key metrics around the current values of total asset value, total debt value, total income, and the total outgoings. And that will update depending on the properties you've selected in the selection widget here. We then scroll down to a new chart, the portfolio net position chart. Essentially, this is an equity chart. So looking at the total property value, the loan balance, and then your net position, or the total equity you have in any given point. We can select different time frames for this. And you'll see these home icons here. That indicates a property purchase along the journey. So here we can see back in 2020, a property was purchased for $800,000. And again, this is test data, so might not exactly represent what you'll see on your side. But we can see the changing equity based on taking on loan here. The loan position is the same, but the total property value has increased because we purchased a property. So then we can see the equity chart there increase. The chart here really does rely on the historic values. So if the chart isn't quite looking how you would expect, I would open up the card tray here, look at the investment properties, and look through the historic values you have in your access log. So that will really be able to determine the accuracy of your chart. Next, we have the loan breakdown chart. So this again will really vary depending on the properties we've selected in the selection widget here. But we have the option to choose by security or by purpose. Now that's based around the loan structure and if these loans are secured by the property or if it's by purpose. So again, we can see within the loan cards itself, down the bottom here where we have purpose and security, that's where you might be able to change the details if it's not quite showing how you would expect, and also just reminds you of how you've secured the properties and the use of that loan as well. So again, we have key metrics of the current value around the total loan balance at the moment, the current LVR, equity at 80%, and your interest repayments at interest only, and then P&I as well. Let's have a look at an example here. We have a linked offset account. So this offset account here of just over $200,000 is linked to this loan from ANZ of $450,000. Again, if we change the purpose, so this loan here of $500,000 is for the business property, but we have a loan which is secured against this investment property, but is actually used for a different purpose. In this instance, it's used for the investment property. This will change depending on the properties we have selected. So let's get rid of the home there. And now we can just see the investment property and the business property. Again, if we have multiple offsets linked, you'll have multiple offsets and same with loans. So we might have, in this case, no loans, but we may have multiple loans connected by purpose or security as well. Let's go back to see the full view. And down the bottom here, we have the investment portfolio cash flow projection. Now, we have seen this in other areas of the More platform, but that was in isolation. So within the asset cards, we have the cash flow projection for individual properties. But as you can see here, this is combined, an aggregate sum of the incoming and outgoings for all the properties that you've selected in the widget. So if we say deselect and just look at the investment property, then we'll just see the income and outgoings for that property, as well as the linked loans and your tax saved and so forth. If we include additional investment properties, say if they had 3 or 4 investment properties, then we would see the income from multiple investment properties and all of the different outgoings they have for each investment property. We would see all of the loans, and we can also select again the use of offsets. So if we deselect this icon here, then the offset calculation won't be included in the cash flow, or we can choose to select that offset benefit is also included as well. So that's the My Property portfolio view. I really hope to hear your feedback and your thoughts and see everyone's reactions from this as well. Thank you very much.